respectable record.
Exactly. It's a big feat of its own. We'll see who's won the dice roll very shortly. Whoever ends up going first.
Can be very important in matchups like these.
I think for game one in this match especially. So I'm going to say that Henry has won the dice roll.
Yeah, you think he's giving off won the dice roll vibes?
Starting off with the Advent of Adventure.
That's an interesting choice there, because he's banished Robina. So again, you're the enthusiast. So what kind of hand would mean you would banish the Robina rather than just normal summon it?
This hand shows that he can already play. He's confident that his hand can beat one single interrupt on maybe the Eglin or the Robina, and he would rather just prioritize getting further advantage into the map. And I think, say they Ash the Advent there, and you've got another name, right? It's not too bad for you. And I think he just wants to play his Eglin safe into Ash Blossom and Joy Spring.
Okay, I like that, because it plays a little bit around the Ash.
Yeah, I think he's just thinking about it. But I think, yeah, the M-Pen gets removed from play here, because either way, that Robina's going back to his hand. And he always has the chance to go for Tokan to then add back the M-Pen, so it just guarantees he's got his play into interrupts.
Yeah, getting those chain blocks is really cool with Floowandereeze. Like, you can play around Ash very cleanly, like Henry showed. So if you normal summon the Eglin while you've got a Robina banished, then you can form the chain with Eglin Chainlink 1 and Robina Chainlink 2, so there's no time to activate Ash Blossom.
Henry, a very renowned Floowandereeze player, recently topping YCS Cancun, reaching top 16. Do you want to know what his one loss was in Top Cut?
Floowandereeze?
Yep.
There we go.
So he can only be stopped by the birds. Yeah, we can see him going through the motions here. I believe he's added the Dreaming Town as well. And I think when you just get into these sorts of game states where you have your map, your Dreaming Town, your M-Pen, you're just in a very controlling position.
Yeah, it's a very nice thing to start with. What are you looking for anything else, or do you think the Floowandereeze engine itself is capable of winning games?
I think it definitely is. Just because, again, you could consider this like one of the most ideal end boards here. There we go. And he saw the Featherstorm. You can see Andrew reeling back a little bit there. But I think he's got his the Mist Valley Apex Avian. He had the map, he had the set trap as well. And I think that those three together, I think that just makes it really hard for any deck to play, let alone a combo heavy deck.
Yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to stop the Featherstorm resolving when it's backed up by an Apex Avian?
Exactly.
I mean, it's pretty impossible to stop it just to trap your opponent's set resolving anyway, but the Apex Avian is going to force it through pretty much.
It's going to do a little bit of cleanup here, I think, especially if he starts to commit to the field.
So like the Featherstorm, I think, is something I saw most commonly side decked a while ago, and now it just seems to be creeping into main decks.
Yeah, I think especially when you've got cards like Triple Tactics Frost, which hasn't actually made it to Henry's main deck, but I would say that gives your deck a huge advantage just playing, right? Because say your Floowandereeze engine gets stopped by an interrupt, there's still a chance that like you just Frost for a Featherstorm, there's no way any deck is killing you.
Yeah,
there's no way you are losing that game. So then the following turn, you still have like so much advantage from these Floowandereeze cards that you're just able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's really powerful, I think. Especially like, as well, you said the Thrust, but there's also like Prosperity and Duality. Like, you can almost search your deck for it. I mean, you can't exactly go through your deck and pick it up, but you know, you have these cards, Prosperity and Duality, which kind of give your deck this kind of, you can get cards when you need them and leave them in your deck when you don't.
Well, you saw then, like, when Henry started, he went through potentially the first 5 or 6 cards of his deck, right? And then, after that, he activated Duality. If he had Prosperity as well, he'd have seen basically a third of his deck at that point, just from those 2 cards if he could. And you're seeing him play here, and it's just running away with it, isn't he?
It's a really nice feature, I think, of a deck that you can, like, of Prosperity and Duality in particular, is not only can they be used beforehand to find your engine if you haven't got it, but afterwards you can use your engine to thin out your deck and then find some of those defensive cards.
Yeah, especially it's a very, very, very strong defensive card like the Featherstorm, which if he so chooses, he might even use Rise and Mega Monarch to just put it back on top of his deck.
That is so nasty, isn't it? I remember people doing that with Dimensional Shifter, and the first time someone did it to me, I thought that is just so rude. Like,
yeah, it's just, he's just overwhelming him here. Like, you see how many of the little monsters he's summoning, now he's getting into his big tribute summons, and it's just unfair. There's nothing else to say, it's just unfair at this point.
Yeah, you can spin maybe both back row with the Riser now. It's using to tribute the Empen and the Rabina. Why do you? Is there a reason? Does it only get its effect when it tributes a tribute summon monster?
I know it gets the bonus effect when it tributes a wind. So maybe he just valued tributing the Empen over the Torcan right now. I'm not sure entirely why.
Couldn't you just tribute Empen as well? Is that not allowed?
I think you could.
I mean, I think it's kind of moot. I'll beat you next turn, whereas Mannadium, it feels like you're all in.
Yeah, all your cards are right there.
Is that a shifter?
That is a dimensional shifter.
Shifter is easily like one of the biggest draws to me for playing Floowandereeze, because it's just such a powerful card. Like, what's your opponent supposed to do? You've activated Macrocosmos during their turn. It just doesn't seem like it should be allowed.
Exactly, especially like this is one of those decks where you need your graveyard too. You need to remove from play monsters for Fish Assassins are allowed, and a number of other cards. And I think it's just going to be a little bit awkward for Andrew to try and make some sort of play here. However, he might surprise us.
Does shut off your own draw and lock bird, but I think he'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think in the state where you'd rather, if you want one to resolve, right? It doesn't matter which one, you just need it to resolve and so you can stop playing.
I feel like it's one of the few decks where, like, I've seen a lot of decks siding Dimension Shifter, even though it kind of hurts them a bit.
Yes,
so decks like Sprite, maybe, decks like Labyrinth, you know, it hurts them a little bit.
Yep.
But Floowandereeze just doesn't care.
It doesn't do anything. If anything, it helps you a little bit, but it just doesn't do anything to you, does it? So Andrew is starting to commit cards to the field. Summoning the Fenrir, summoning the Room Heart.
I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah, I'm unsure as of yet.
This is one of the. I mean, I guess you can make Bestial discard.
Does
That's
Meek
quite
still
cool.
trigger here? Oh,
yeah, I think it's just when it's destroyed.
Okay, that's quite nice.
Oh, that's very tidy. I thought Galarium had to summon from the grave.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought as well.
I've said this before, I feel like it's kind of like a mark of like a good player with the deck when you hit them with a shifter or a draw and they
just keep going, right?
Yeah, they still do something.
Or even stopping, they just keep it going.
I feel like the first time I play with the deck, I'm just learning how to play it. If somebody like shifters me or draws me or whatever, I just think, oh no, what do I do? Yeah, should I just pass? Like, I don't want to banish all of my cards. But it seems like Andrew knows more about what he wants to do.
It seems like he's also still ending on like maybe a Baron as well. As there's still like 3 interrupts there.
If you count Fenrir.
Yeah.
You count Fenrir?
I do count. I do just about.
Okay, it will banish one little bird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't banish it face down, it banishes it face up.
Yes. I do like those interactions actually. It's too unique. So we're gonna see Henry draw for turn.
The big bird. So it looks like he's got a number of the smaller birds there.
1, 2, 3 sphere mode ready. Come on, Henry. We need to have a word with players on stream.
I think
like, put your
Andrew's
cards here.
smiling.
So in my head, that could have been spear fold. However, it doesn't look like it was taken.
Okay, it means he's already got one in hand. That's our read, is it? Yeah, Henry doesn't look like he's about to drop a spear mode.
No. Oh, we took Advent. I quite like this. I think it lets him play as well, as you get, you now can start chain blocking, right? I think that's one of the greatest strengths of the Floowandereeze deck, is just being able to block your opponent from these types of negations.
One interesting interaction is the Bestial Disparter can shuffle back the Rabina while it's on its adventure.
That is true.
Its adventure gets cut short by a big angry dragon.
I kind of wish I wish I'd known if that was a sphere mode or not. Sorry.
It feels very much like if there was a sphere mode, it would have been chosen.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Hard to say otherwise.
So your only card in hand should be either another copy of Fenrir or the Scareclaw Kashtira. Maybe Henry just decides he doesn't want to win with the sphere mode.
Very honourable.
He's already utilised the technology behind Dimensional Shifter. Didn't want to quite hit him with the sphere mode as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering like what the line is here. Sometimes when you're in a situation like Henry's, you have to kind of think about how to get your opponent, what you want your opponent to use what negation on. Because obviously, I think there are a lot of times if your opponent could see your hand, they would know what to negate exactly, but they can't see your hand, and you need to be mindful of that.
I agree with that. So he's going to resolve the Egglen.
So we saw the Disparter negating the Rabina by shuffling back the Rabina.
I think he might have another Rabina in the hand. I'm not sure about the line of play.
So he's not negated the Rabina with Baron de Fleur.
Not immediately, anyway.
Oh, he's negating it now. Okay. I guess in a new chain link you could banish Egglen.
I think
and that's a concession.
Maybe it wasn't
a
copy of.
That's interesting. I'd like to run through the math on that. Yeah.
I can interview. You can sit with the calculator on the side if you want. So, standby main phase 1.
Any shift, is that called by the grave? It is, so no drawn lockbirds here. That's a real lot of respect to drawn lockbird. He's got 2 ways of dealing with drawn lockbird.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I don't think Henry has drawn the most optimal hand.
He's got a Miracle Fusion. Not very good under Dimension Shifter.
Maybe for the later games. Well, later turns even.
Been playing too much Time Wizard format, seeing Miracle Fusion everywhere. Was that a pass, though?
It was, yeah. I think he opened a copy of Advent of Adventure, 2 copies of the Magnificent Map, and the Call by the Grave.
It's interesting, like, I'm wondering, is it even optimal to activate Terraforming?
Yeah, I think I would agree there.
Is that way you can just hold the shifter, and then you get the shifter for an extra turn?
Yeah, I think, I think I agree with you there.
So, but he has taken your advice in going second.
Essentially. I do, yeah. I think he just wants to get another copy of the map out just to increase the chances of him drawing a playable card next turn, right?
That makes sense, that makes sense.
It's understandable. However, if it's anything like game 2, it could just be over.
It could. I mean, what's Henry got? I mean, he can't almost have any hand traps, right? Because the shifter switches off draw, and it seems quite unlikely to have that many hand traps in your deck going first, especially when you're a deck like Floowandereeze. But he is looking very intently. I mean, it might just be, it's worth it sometimes just to try and put your opponent off, you know?
Yeah.
You look back, you look upset, your opponent's just going to do their kind of normal combos. Whereas if you look at them and you say, I'm definitely going to do something, then it might you know, persuade them that you have something.
So we're going to see the similar line to the previous game.
Yeah, it looks almost exactly the same. But is it? This doesn't look quite like a... Oh, maybe it is actually. I don't know how much attack the Peaceful Planet gives you. I think it gives you buffs for all the tuners that you have. Is that right?
I'm not sure, but that's... I do like that they all give attack in such an odd way, right?
Because, yeah, all of the planets give you... And he's got 2 tuners. It might be that. I might be completely making it up. But all of the planets give you some buff based off of, you know, something.
Yeah.
The Polar Rhino, in some sense, is the most boring one. It just gives you all 500. It's probably the best, though. Whereas, you know, the Kashtira field spell and the Scareclaw all give you buffs depending on, like, other weird things like attributes or defense position monsters. But if it is per tuner, that would be an extra 600 damage, which would be
almost enough, I think.
Yeah, enough for lethal. But
it is for 100 for light monsters. You control, gain 100 for each tuner. You control, and in the grave as well. That's pretty good.
Okay, so it would have given him a few extra points of damage. Oh no, he didn't actually. This looks like less damage if you do it with Baron.
Actually. I think so.
It does play around evenly matched, I guess. You don't want your opponent to evenly match on your turn. That's just kind of embarrassing.
He's got set cards. Let's see if Henry's able to draw a bird here.
That's a bird, but it's not the bird you wanted. You shouldn't have said anything. I think you jinxed it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Activate, map. Summon Troll Lock Bird.
He'll do it with the quickness.
I like the sportsmanship.
Good sense of humour.
Oh, he had one as well. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. He just didn't see anything.
No monsters.
I guess that is the curse of the Floowandereeze engine. It did.